Hi everybody, Healthy Prepper here, and today's topic, expiration dates on food. Or should we say sell by, best by, use by, packed by, or on. Okay, you've seen a lot of different terminology on different types of foods, everything from canned foods to produce to milk to meats. What does it all mean? How long is food good? When is it safe? Well, it turns out that most of these dates are actually placed on food in a voluntary purpose. The only true foods that actually have real expiration dates mandated by the FDA is certain poultry, baby foods, and baby formulas. And most of the rest are not regulated by federal law. It's left up to food manufacturers, and it's regulated on a state-by-state basis. The state legislature decides what sell-by dates to use for perishable foods, and these best by or sell-by dates, use-by dates, all mean different things in different contexts. The sell-by date is generally a guide for the store to know when to turn over its stock. And remember, this is a guideline. It's not a mandatory line that is drawn in the sand. Obviously, a customer is more inclined to buy something before the sell-by date. If something gets close to the sell-by date or just after the sell-by date, you may see the price greatly reduced, cut in half or 3/4, blowout special. You will also see this on meat. Now, best before or best if used by dates. These are the dates that are put on which indicate when the producer of the item is willing to stand behind the quality and flavor and nutrient content of the food. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that after that date, that poof, magically the food is not edible or all the nutrients disappear. It may be perfectly fine the day after, the day after that, the day after that, but that's the last date that the manufacturer of the food will stand behind it and say that it is still at peak quality. Apparently, there are not a lot of tests done by food manufacturers or drug manufacturers, like 10-year studies later studying their product to see the efficacy, the quality, the potency, the freshness of their food. And the thought process behind this is, do they have a motivation to put an expiration date or a sell-by date or a best-by date on it so that you'll actually clear your home shelves of it and go buy more product from them? So you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt. I think people should eat old food? No, absolutely not. I think you should always eat the freshest food available to you at any time for peak quality, nutrient content. Absolutely. The reason why I bring this up is because so many preppers do store food, and we're always trying to extend the shelf life of food. And we tend to store canned food, and we tend to wonder what's going to happen after that magic date passes. Now, by today's standards, you might not want to eat a 1 or 2-year-old can of olives. But after an SHTF situation where supply lines have been cut off and there's no more canned food coming in, there's no more fresh food around, you've just got to eat what you have. A 1 or 2 old can of olives may look pretty good. A 5-year-old can of olives may look pretty good. There have been reports of people opening cans that are 30 years old and found perfectly edible food on the inside. So you kind of have to look at your own mindset and use your best judgment as far as quality and versus safety. Now remember especially the best by and the sell by and the best if used by dates, they are for quality, not for safety. That's a distinction that the FDA actually explains. So you have to use your own best judgment. Obviously, if a can is bloated, if it is rusted in any way, if it's dented, if there's something that just doesn't look right, if it doesn't smell right, if it tastes off, don't eat it, okay? In an SHTF scenario where, food will be king, you also don't want to be throwing away perfectly good food when there may not be a lot of options around. So definitely think carefully and wisely. Get the freshest food you can now, of course. Build yourself up as strong as possible so that you're prepared for anything. Put some things away. You may not know how long we have to put things away, so you want to stock up now while you can. And just be clear that, it is the FDA that only requires true expiration dates on infant formula as far as food goes and some poultry items. Now, there are different recommendations for meat and things like that, obviously, but for prepared or processed items that have a longer shelf life, canned items, it's safety, it's not safety, I'm sorry, it is level of quality. So yes, possible nutrient degradation here has started, or maybe not, maybe it's perfectly fine. We don't know. Like I said, there's not a lot of studies that have been done, 10-year-long studies. So use your best judgment. One study I did read was that aspartame, if you consume that product in diet sodas, if you are storing those, apparently it breaks down over time and it becomes very bad tasting. So you may want to reconsider storing diet soda if that is a thing that you choose to do. So there you go, folks. Something to think about with expiration dates. Let's keep our food healthy and clean and as full of quality nutrients as we can, but let's also be realistic and realize that not everything in the can generally goes bad the instant the date passes. Take care, everyone. Happy and healthy prepping.